One of the most famous feminist tropes is that, well, if women were in charge, the world would be at peace. But this is definitely a lie. Let's look at some recent data from the Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, or FIRE. On average, women are even more intolerant of their political allies than men are of their political enemies. So men show more good faith to their political enemies than women do to their political allies. All women, no matter whether they were liberal, slightly liberal, moderate, whether they were slightly conservative, whether they were libertarian, whether they were democratic socialist, they were all less tolerant of differing opinions than men, no matter their political leaning. The one group of men that fall into that section of being quote-unquote intolerant, they are people that mark themselves as haven't thought about this much. The less confident you are in your opinion, the less likely you are to tolerate other opinions. But when it comes to the conflict aspect, as you often hear, well, physical violence is so much more common within men and so on. And that is true on a statistical front. But this is what's really important to note. It's not that women don't engage in conflict, it's that they engage in conflict differently. In Chimpanzee Politics, Frans de Waal documents that female chimpanzees are frequently involved in conflicts without engaging in direct physical aggression. Rather than fighting themselves, they influence outcomes through screaming, gesturing, and aligning with particular males. Conflict, in other words, is not avoided, it is initiated indirectly and enforced by proxies. So it's not that women are more peaceful, it's that women outsource the conflict to men. And then actually, as Frans de Waal notes in Chimpanzee Politics, is that as soon as the conflict occurs, they actually just pull themselves out of it. But not only is this the case in primatology and within chimpanzees, but it's also historically accurate. So there was a study done on European monarchies, which found that polities ruled by queens were more likely to engage in war than those ruled by kings. When queens were unmarried, they were more likely to be attacked. However, married queens, those with access to male military and political sports, were more likely to attack than kings, and also more likely to engage in fights on behalf of allies. So yeah, again, this whole feminist myth that the world would be more peaceful if women were in charge is actually wrong from many different angles.